What's up YouTube? I'm John, this is DempseyJ Illustrations, and on today's video it's a Multiverse Story Arc episode. You guys wanted Ben 10 aliens as the next characters to be Venomized in this series on the channel, so let's bring these illustrations to life. There's a special force that helps protect the galaxy. This force is known by the name the Plumbers, not to be confused with regular plumbers who fix toilets and whatnot. These plumbers are a galactic policing force, built from members of millions of species throughout the galaxy. They defend against threats and criminals of all shapes and sizes. Among the ranks of this organisation is a young man from Earth named Ben Tennyson, who has a rather unique circumstance. Ben happened to stumble across a device when he was younger called the Omnitrix. This allowed him to gain the ability to change to a vast number of alien species, as well as use their innate powers and abilities. This has led to some amazing stories and encounters, but we'll cover those another time. Today's story is one that has been classified as top secret, even among higher members of the Plumbers organisation. While out on a routine patrol, Ben encountered an alien species that had not been found before, and definitely was not in the Omnitrix. This species was thought to be some blackish purple goo type creature, and they found it on a rock they're investigating, as the Plumbers had discovered some strange readings coming from this asteroid. Ben, in his usual nonchalant way, decided to pull out an interesting looking rock while saying he doesn't see the point of this. It's not as exciting or fun as taking down bad guys. As Ben pulled out the rock, a piece of black glue landed on the Omnitrix. "Yuck," said Ben, as he went to pull the goo off his arm. All of a sudden, there was a crackle of green energy from the Omnitrix. It activated, and the goo was blasted away from his arm onto the ground a few meters in front of him. "Ben!" shouted Rook. "I'm okay," replied Ben. "That's good. But Ben, what is that thing?" As they looked at the black substance that had been on Ben's arm, it seemed to form a face with a sinister grin on it. "I have no idea, but I have a bad feeling about this." As Ben said this, the substance formed the shape of a pyronite, but it was a little different in colour than the normal members of the species. The plasma element of its body was a blue glowing colour instead of the usual yellow and red. And the flames were blue as well. The only time Ben had seen something like this was when he had a cold and the Omnitrix inverted Heatblast's abilities to be cold rather than heat. As for the body of this creature, it was darker in colour with a bluish grey hue on the reddish molten, kind of like slabs from Heatblast's body. "The power!" cried the substance. "I must have more of this power. So many wonderful species and so many abilities. I must have it." Ben replied, "Wait, you can talk?" With this, the Omnitrix made an all too familiar sound, and Ben lifted up his arm and slammed his hand down onto the watch in order to change into an alien that would be ideal against this strange creature. Well, that was the plan anyway. As the flash of light from the Omnitrix faded, Ben looked at his hands. "Aw, man, I thought we were past this. Come on, give me a break." Ben had turned into a hero he hadn't used in a while. A hero that was perhaps not the best alien creature to go against a pyrokinetic species. He turned into Ripjaws, perfect on a world full of water. But on this rock, against a strange creature with the powers of a pyronite, potentially useless. Ben went to cancel the watch in order to change back to human form, but it didn't work. It appeared that after the creature had touched the Omnitrix, it caused some kind of malfunction with it. "Great, just what I need," said Ben. As Ben looked at the creature, it said, "I have this form too," and changed to be a weird looking version of Ripjaws. Ben looked and said, "What? It even has a cooler form than I do?" This version of Ripjaws had red fins, a blue coloured body that flowed like the substance it originally was, but also quite solid in parts, and had a white emblem on its chest. It looked kind of like a spider shape, but Ben wasn't paying too much attention to this. The body had a few extra glowing elements, and again this was in a bluish colour, and it had what looked like a few extra spikes on it. "This form is good, but I feel as though it'll be more powerful than liquid," said the creature. "Well, yeah, but what can you do? There's no water here," said Ben with a smile. At that point, the creature smiled back, and Ben and Rook looked somewhat confused. Rook? Yeah, Ben? There isn't any water here, is there? Correct, my readings aren't showing any signs of water or a similar substance. I need more, said the creature, and a tendril shot out towards Ben and hit the Omnitrix, causing another shockwave blast. Ah! Ben and Rook were sent flying backwards as the creature let out a menacing laugh. Ha 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 ha! As the dust settled, the creature had taken a new form from the aliens in the watch. Ben was back in his human form. It seemed the watch had timed out and was needed for a recharge before it could be used again. Ben and Rook looked at the creature, almost in a daze as the dust was settling, and it had another one of Ben's original aliens as its form. This time it was Upgrade. It didn't seem like this form was too different from the original Upgrade, but there was a few changes in colour. The bits that are normally black on Upgrade were a bluish purpley grey colour, and the white element of the body was a golden colour. The main difference was that the circle symbol on the face was more of an intricate design, and where the glowing tech elements were green, there were red elements, and more of them, looking a bit more like a tattoo design. Either way, they looked similar to malware, but far more menacing. Ben turned to Rook and said, "Oh great, how are we going to deal with this thing if it gets on the ship and upgrades the form? There's no telling where it might go and what damage it might cause." Rook responded, Ben, I do not think that would be a problem. It seems to be fixated on you and the Omnitrix." "The power!" cried the creature, now in a crazed, addictive daze. Yes, this is what I need. This is what I'm after." The creature then extended its arm towards Ben and tried to grab the Omnitrix. Rook pushed Ben aside and threw a device to set up a kind of like energy barrier. But it was just absorbed by the creature and became a part of its body. Rook looked at Ben and said, "I had forgotten that species could do that." Ben replied, "You think?" The creature, still reveling in its newfound power, said to Ben and Rook, "I can still sense more power in that device on your arm. Millions of species to bond with, to make me stronger." "Not a chance," shouted Ben. Just then the Omnitrix made a sound that was like music to Ben's ears. "All right," he shouted. "Now let's see what we can do to stop this creature before it gets out of hand." Huh? Ben looked in surprise at the Omnitrix, as it was flickering very fast between two alien silhouettes, and he wasn't sure which ones they were. It was too fast for the eye to see. Despite everything, though, and all the weird, wacky issues Ben has had with the Omnitrix in the past, and it being on the fritz, he'd always had an alien that seemed to turn the tide in any given situation, and he believed this time would be no different. "Here goes nothing," Ben shouted as he slammed his hand down onto the watch. He transformed into the next alien, but this time something strange happened to the creature as well. Ben and the creature had both changed into the same alien. Ben was a little confused, to say the least. He didn't see the creature get a hold of the Omnitrix this time. Rook? Did it get a hold of the Omnitrix while I was changing form or something? No, Ben. When you changed into Cannonbolt, the creature also changed into that version of an Arborian Pelarota. Wait, what does that mean? It can change into any of the aliens in the Omnitrix? Or is it somehow linked to the transformations now? Ben and Rook were interrupted by the creature shouting, "More! I want more! Still more power! I need to devour more! Give me that device!" Guess that answers if it can use all the aliens in the Omnitrix. Yes, Ben, it appears it's not able to use all the aliens. However, we still do not know which ones it can use. Before Rook could finish a sentence, there was a loud crash and both Rook and Ben were knocked aside as the creature used one of Cannonbolt's attacks to get closer to the pair. Luckily for Ben, he rolled up into a ball and landed safely from the force of the impact, before coming back and attacking the creature. Both Ben and the creature used a rolling attack at each other, and the shockwave caused Rook to duck for cover, as both Pelotarians seemed to be evenly matched. That was until the creature did something unexpected. As it was spinning and holding Ben at bay, two tendril-like arms came out from its sides and grabbed the sides of Ben's version of Cannonbolt, slowing his roll down until it completely engulfed him in a goo-like form. "Ben! Ben, can you hear me?" cried Rook. After getting no response from Ben, Rook decided to call for backup. Just then, the form of the creature went flying past in front of Rook's view. Rook looked in surprise and turned his head in the direction to where Ben had been and saw he was spinning on the spot in a sideways motion. It seems this had caused the creature to be sent flying away from Ben and crashing into some of the rocks. "I need more power," said the creature, and with that it began to change shape and form into another one of Ben's original aliens. That's where I'm going to leave it today. If you want to see more Ben 10 aliens turn into venomized monsters in this storyline for the Multiverse Story Arc, be sure to smash the like button. If I get enough likes, I will be doing a part 2 to this little story that we've got going. I think my favourite characters out of this episode, I don't really know. I kind of like all of them, to be honest. I think Ripjaws and Upgrade have got some of the cooler designs, but Heatblast and Cannonbolt do look rather cool in their own kind of unique way. Friday's video, it's a Copic illustration of Moonlight. I'm loving the series on Disney Plus at the moment, and I think it'll be quite a cool character to draw. So I'm looking forward to this one. Be sure to check it out. I will put a link to the Multiverse Story Arc playlist on the screen and in the description below. So be sure to check that out. I have other things on the channel, such as turning things into dragons, mech armors, a whole host of weird, wacky, fun crossovers. So be sure to check those out if you're new to the channel. Anyway, stay safe everybody. I'll catch you next time.